Uttara Kanda, the citizens are unhappy. The people of Ayodhya were happy under the rule of Rama, but Rama was always cautious not to make even a single subject unhappy. One day, he heard from a messenger that some of his subjects were not pleased that Sita had stayed with the Rakshasas for so many days. In those days, everyone thought the Rakshasas to be evil and impure. People always tried to avoid them. They believed staying with Rakshasas could make a person evil and impure. That was why Rama had asked Sita to be tested by fire. But the people of Ayodhya did not see that test. They did not want someone who would stay with the Rakshasas as their queen. Rama was sad. He knew Sita was pure, but he wanted to satisfy his subjects, so he took a harsh decision. Sita is banished. Rama decided that he should banish Sita from his kingdom so that his subjects were happy. He called his 3 brothers and announced his decision. The brothers were shocked, for Rama was firm. A king is nothing but a servant of the people. He should always try to do what his subjects want, he said. If my subjects are happy not to have Sita as their queen, I must obey their wish. He ordered Lakshmana to take Sita to the hermitage of sage Valmiki across Ganga. Sita had long wanted to visit the hermitage, he said. Lakshmana wanted to protest, but Rama would have none of it. So the next morning, Lakshmana took Sita in a chariot to the hermitage of sage Valmiki by the river Tamasa. Sita did not know anything about her banishment and happily mounted the chariot. Lakshmana revealed the truth. Throughout the journey, Sita was happy and cheerful, but Lakshmana remained gloomy and pensive. Although Sita tried to cheer him up, he remained depressed. The chariot reached the bank of river Ganga. From there, they would have to take a boat. As the boat was being prepared, Lakshmana could no longer contain himself. He burst into tears and fell at Sita's feet. Rama had set an impossible task for me, he cried. How can I do this? Oh, how can I do this? Sita was surprised. Tell me what happened, she asked. Lakshmana narrated everything to Sita. Finally, he said, I have been ordered to take you across Ganga by this boat and leave you near the hermitage on the other bank. I shall have to return from there. Sita fell senseless on the ground. At the Hermitage of Valmiki, the boat crossed Ganga and touched the bank. Lakshmana mechanically helped Sita get on shore. He returned to the boat in silence and crossed over to the other bank. Then he mounted the waiting chariot and turned back for one last time. He saw Sita gradually sinking the ground. The chariot rolled towards Ayodhya. The young hermits were surprised to find a beautiful lady weeping near the hermitage. They called Valmiki to the spot. Valmiki, of course, knew who Sita was. He lifted her up and escorted her to the hermitage. Stay here as long as you wish, he said. Lakshmana returned to Ayodhya and found Rama waiting for him. I have done everything that you had asked me to, he said. Then he noticed Rama weeping in silence. What can you do? He consoled Rama. Everything in the world comes to an end, and every union ends in separation. Lav And Kush. Sita gave birth to the sons of Rama at the Hermitage of Valmiki. They were twins, and Valmiki named them Lav and Kush. The boys grew up under the care of Sita and Valmiki. They played around in the hermitage. All the sages and hermits loved them. As they grew up, Valmiki taught them to read and write. They also learned to use weapons. Valmiki also taught them to sing chants and ballads. Gradually, Valmiki taught them to sing the shlokas of the Ramayana, the work that he had completed until the Uttara Kanda. The boys knew nothing of their real identity, but they were touched by the story of Ramayana. They would sing it with all their soul, and whoever heard them would be filled with both joy and sorrow. Rama performs Ashvamedha Yajna. Meanwhile, Rama was ruling Ayodhya with a heavy heart. One day, he decided to perform the Ashvamedha Yajna. This was a yajna which only the greatest of the rulers could complete. A horse was set free by the king, and soldiers followed it across kingdoms for 1 year. If anyone dared to stop or capture the horse, he would have to fight the soldiers. If he lost, he would lose his kingdom. At the end of the year, the king had to perform a grand yajna. Rama called the royal priest Vasistha and the sages Bamdev, Jabali, and Kashyap. He sought their permission for performing the yajna. They praised Rama's decision and gave their permission. Rama ordered for the arrangements to be made. He called Lakshmana and said, "Please send messengers to Sugriv and Vibhishan. Let them attend the yajna with all their followers." After all arrangements were complete, Rama released the sacrificial horse. Shatrughna accompanied him. "Brothers, stop that horse!" The horse traveled across the land and no one dared stop it. Everyone knew the might of Rama and his brothers. The horse roamed around for a year and then turned back towards Ayodhya. As the horse reached River Tamasa, 2 young boys armed with bows and arrows grabbed the horse by its halter. They led it away like an expert and tied it to a tree near Valmiki's hermitage. Shatrughna was surprised to find 2 young hermits displaying such strength and skill. "Who are you?" he asked the boys. "I am Lav and he is Kush," one of the boys said. "Where do you stay?" "In the hermitage over there," they pointed. "Let the horse go," said Shatrughna. "It belongs to the king." "We won't," they replied in unison. "Then you will have to fight me." Shatrughna smiled. "We will fight," they said. Young warriors. Shatrughna did not take them seriously. He went ahead to release the horse. He was surprised when one of the boys pushed him away with immense strength. Angry, Shatrughna took out his sword just to scare them away. In an instant, the other boy set an arrow to his bow, took aim and shot. It struck the sword and split it into 2. Now Shatrughna realized the fight was for real. He took his bow and arrow and shot a few innocent arrows to frighten them. But the boys started to shoot with such skill that Shatrughna was soon defeated and fell senseless on the ground. The soldiers now charged and a fierce battle began. The boys defeated the entire army and went back to the hermitage. A grand battle! News reached Ayodhya that 2 young boys had stopped the sacrificial horse. Bharat and Lakshmana soon came with another army, but could fare no better. Both were defeated and fell senseless, and the army was vanquished. Hanuman had come to attend the yajna. On hearing of this strange battle, he came to rescue the horse. The boys were delighted to see a monkey coming to fight. They did not shoot Hanuman. They simply overpowered him and tied him to a tree. Finally, Rama himself came to battle. On seeing him, the boys were a little awed. "Who are you?" they asked. Rama was amused. "I am Rama, the king of Ayodhya," he said. The boys were quite surprised now. They knew everything about Rama because they had learned to sing the Ramayana. "Set the horse free," Rama insisted. The boys refused and the fight started. Soon, Rama was senseless too. Back to the hermitage. The boys dragged the horse to the hermitage. "Look, mother, what have we got?" They called out to Sita. Sita was stunned to see a sacrificial horse marked with the symbol of the Ikshwaku family. Where did you find it? She asked. By the river, they replied. Why did you catch it? Because it was roaming freely. The markings on its forehead say that anyone who wishes to challenge can stop it or capture it. You silly boys! Soon the soldiers will come and then you will have to fight them. Sita was furious. Oh, the soldiers? The boys laughed. They had already come. The battle is over, and we also have a prisoner. They took Sita to where they had tied Hanuman to a tree. Sita recognized Hanuman and then saw the signs of battle all around. Then she saw the 4 royal brothers lying lifeless on the ground. Valmiki to the rescue! Crying aloud, Sita rushed to release Hanuman. The mighty monkey said, Now I know why they are so strong. He saluted Sita. Soon Valmiki came and told Sita to go back to the hermitage. He revived everyone with his divine powers. Rama and his 3 brothers touched his feet. They were curious about the warrior boys. Rama repeatedly asked who they were. They are young hermits, Valmiki said. I shall visit the Ashvamedha Yajna with them. There they will sing something. Then you'll come to know everything. They saluted the sage once again and went back to Ayodhya with the sacrificial horse. Singing the Ramayana, Valmiki attended the Ashvamedha Yajna with all his disciples. Lav and Kush were also among them. Rama was engaged with various rituals and did not notice them. After the yajna was over, Valmiki asked his 2 brothers to sing something. The boys started to sing the Ramayana. Everyone was charmed by their voice, their pronunciation, and their melodious singing. Rama sat enthralled. The assembly was also surprised to find the twins strongly resembling Rama. Lav and Kush sang the first 20 chapters of the Ramayana and then stopped. Rama was not satisfied. He wanted to hear more. He offered 18,000 gold coins to the brothers, but they refused. We live in a hermitage and eat fruit. What will we do with gold? They said. Everyone was surprised by this reply. Rama became certain that they were not common hermits. Valmiki Reveals All. Rama wanted to know about the poem they were singing. How long is this poem? He asked. Who is its author? Till now it has 6 khandas or parts, they said. It describes your life till your coronation, and it is being composed by sage Valmiki. Then Valmiki came forward and revealed the true identity of Lav and Kush. They are your sons, Rama, and Sita is still there at my hermitage. She is pure and innocent. I will request you to take her back as the queen of Ayodhya. Rama sat in silence for a long time. Then he said, I know Sita is pure, but my hands are tied. I am merely a slave of my subjects, but still, I will give Sita another chance. Let her come here at the venue of the Yajna tomorrow and declare her purity in public. Then she can return to the palace. A second test. Early next day, Rama invited great sages of the land to come to the gathering. People assembled from far and near. All the guests who had been attending the yajna were also there. Valmiki himself came with Sita and led her to the middle of the gathering. The crowd roared on seeing Sita, but fell silent as the sage began to speak. Here is Sita, said Valmiki, the most devout lady the earth has ever seen. Rama had been unjust in banishing her from the kingdom. Lav and Kush are Rama's children, and their rightful place is here at Ayodhya, not in a hermitage. I request Rama to accept Sita and her sons back in the palace. Rama said, I agree to all that you say, O great sage. I was afraid not to hurt my subjects. Let Sita come forward. Sita returns to Mother Earth. Then Sita stepped forward and said, If I had been pure all my life, if I had been a devoted wife, let Mother Earth take me back to her womb. As she said these words, the earth shook and rolled and split apart. A divine lady emerged out of the fissure, along with a golden throne. Sita stepped forward and sat on the throne. Then Sita, the throne, and the lady all sunk back. Inside the crater, the earth trembled and rumbled, and the fissure closed as if the ground had never split. The daughter of earth returned to the earth. Everyone was dumbfounded. Some prayed, some fainted, most of them began to cry. As Sita disappeared, Rama sat like a statue of stone. Then he wept inconsolably for a long time. I had rescued Sita from the end of the ocean, but now I have lost her forever, he rued. Lav and Kush get a father. The sages consoled Rama. They said everything happened for a cause and no one could alter the course of fate. All those who get separated in this world shall be reunited in heaven. All the achievements of Rama will be immortalized by Valmiki, and people will forever sing the praise of Sita. Rama controlled his emotions and said to Valmiki, I think now it is time for you to compose the final part of your Ramayana. Please start writing the Uttara Kanda. He took Lav and Kush by hand and went to the Hermitage of Valmiki where Sita lived. He spent the night there with his sons. All through the night, the father and his sons thought of Sita, a devout wife and a loving mother. Rama goes to heaven. Rama ruled for many more years. He created separate kingdoms for his brothers and the sons of his brothers. When Lav and Kush turned into adults, Rama made Kush the ruler of southern Koshala and Lav the ruler of northern Koshala. Then one day a messenger came from Lord Brahma. He said Brahma was pleased with whatever Rama had achieved in the world. His deeds would remain immortal. But now his work was done, and Rama could travel to heaven and spend time with the gods if he wished. Rama agreed to go to Brahma, but all his brothers wanted to accompany him there. Together, the brothers left Ayodhya for one last time. They reached the banks of River Saryu and entered the holy waters. All the gods came down and escorted the brothers to heaven. The end. I hope you enjoyed hearing the Ramayana being read by me, Trishob Thigulla. Go to YouTube, DS Thigulla, and like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to comment. And namaste.